Hello everybody, today we're going to do a pose called Vipariti Karani. It's one of my favorite poses, and it's often a pose that I'll do after I've taught a few classes just to restore my energy. It's a restorative posture. It's also a very mild inversion, and it's sometimes called the Great Rejuvenator because it just rejuvenates your nervous system. So what you'll need is you'll need a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster around, you can use some rolled blankets, or even a couch pillow sometimes can work, but you'll need a bolster. And I have the bolster a little bit away from the wall, so there's some space between the bolster and the wall. And then I'm taking another folded blanket and I'm putting it on top of the bolster. Now that's optional. You don't have to have that extra height, but we're doing the deluxe version today, so you can have it with or without this blanket. And then I'm taking another blanket, which is also optional, and I'm making it into a trifold, so one size larger than the shoulder stand size, and then I make it into a long trifolded blanket, which is where my spine is going to go. So I put that in front of the bolster, and then I come and I put my hip right onto the edge of the bolster, and I thread my arm through and I bring my legs up the wall, and I get my hips in between the bolster and the molding there, and my legs are up. And then what I like to do once I come into the pose is take my legs really wide into Upavishta Konasana, because it helps my sitting bones to move down. So you want your groins to move towards the wall, and you want the inner thighs to lengthen towards the inner knees, towards the inner feet, and the sitting bones are right in that space. Now if you're dealing with a stiffer body, you may not get that close, and don't worry about that. The arms can be any position. They can be like this, they can be in the goalpost shape. You can see what feels good to you at that time. And you just really want to let your legs rest. And if this feels too wide, of course, don't go so wide. And if you've been to class, you can also tie a long belt around your legs just to hold your legs in place. But this is really nice. And then the thighs move towards the wall. The fronts of the thighs move to the backs of the thighs. The inner thighs, they lengthen. But most importantly, you just rest. Now, I'm wearing my glasses, but normally in any kind of restorative pose, you take off your glasses and you just rest if you by chance, like me, wear glasses. And you just breathe, and you allow your abdomen to be super soft. And notice that my front ribs and my hip points are at the same level, which allows this area of my body to soften, to relax, so that my organic body, my inside organs, can move backwards. And that's what you want to experience in the pose. And then after a while, you can bring your legs, you can stay there for 5, 10, even 15 minutes. And then you come into into Baddha Konasana legs. So the legs come here, and the heels press into each other, and the inner thighs lengthen away. The tops of the legs turn out, and the outer thighs move towards the wall. You can place your hands gently here and lengthen the skin on the inner thighs without pushing the knees. That's not a good habit to get into. Just lengthen the skin here from the inner thighs towards the knees. And then again, you can find a good resting position for the arms. So this is Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And then you can stay again for as long as you have time for. It's sometimes nice to set a timer, 2 or 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, and then extend your legs up. And this is the classic version of the pose. So now the legs are together. Bring the outer thighs to the inner thighs. Make sure the hips are really resting on that bolster. And again, the arms can be in any position. And you'll feel the effects of the pose. Vipariti Karani, inverted legs. It's great if your joints in your legs tend to swell, because it gives the fluids in your legs a chance to move and recirculate through the body. And then we'll come out of this pose. That's why I like to have this blanket here, because it just allows you to slide outwards. So I just slide out like that. You can take this blanket out And just rest your legs. You want to make sure that your hips come in front of the bolster, and then just cross your legs in Sukhasana. This bolster you can add, this blanket rather, you can add for your head as needed. And again, that's optional. That feels delicious actually. Arms can be here, or you can rest your hands on the abdomen. And then over time, you switch the cross of your legs. And remembering that Viparita Karani, you can do it as a replacement pose to Sarvangasana, to shoulder stand. Of course, you can do it in addition to Sarvangasana, but you can also do it as a replacement pose. And then when you're ready, you just roll to your side, and you can come up. Okay, and that's our practice for today, the restorative practice, Viparita Karani, and some variations. Enjoy. Namaste.